Mixologist is a person or a gentleman that you have the knowledge of the product, he know how to use the product, they have the technique to use the product, and they know how to put together. I think mixologist is correlated with fantasy.
Hey guys, this is Sid Patel. I'm your host for the Inside the Drinks business, CEO of Beverage Trade Network and London Spirits Competition. I'm here with Federico. He's the director of Mixology at the Donovan Bar at the Browns Hotel, one of the prestigious bar in London. And today we're going to talk about the big business of mixology. Thanks for having me here, Federico.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Super. So let's start with the mixology, right?
Yes.
Who is a good mixologist according to you?
Who is? Oh, it's a good question. I think mixologist is correlated with fantasy. Okay, so creativity is something that you have inside since you're born. Mm-hmm. You know when you were young, your parents give you a ball, you think it's about to be the best football player in the world, or they give you a box and you put in your hand and you think about to be astronaut. Okay. This they call it fantasy. I call it creativity. Okay, so it's something that we have inside. So creativity is something that we have.
Yep.
But it's something that we need to develop during the year as well, with studying, researching, and never stop. We need to be humble, no? So I think mixologist is a person or a gentleman that you have the knowledge of the product. He know how to use the product. They have the technique to use the product, and they know how to put together the things. We like to, for example, in the Donovan Bar, we like to play with the elements or ingredients that usually they don't go very well together. But using the right knowledge and the right technique, we can manage to marry them perfectly. So this is a great mixology as well.
Got it. And when when it comes to a characteristic of a great mixologist, what are they always aiming for? How are you always raising your bar internally, right? Because you want to become better and better every day.
Of course.
So I believe that you must be trying at your home as well, different things. You're always trying to come up with that amazing, magical surprise. Apart from all that, what do you think? How do you yourself drive and raise your level? What are those characteristics?
So I think one of the most important things is to be a part of the team, okay? Because everybody, we are all different, no? Everybody have different characteristics. So it's nice that maybe one is much more focused in the technique of shaking, the other one is much more focused in the flavors. So it's nice to put all those elements together and compete, first of all, with your team members, and then of course you have to compete with the rest of the bars.
Got it.
So need to be always at avant-garde. So of course
so
now
have some unique thing, like unique skill.
Unique skills, exactly. For example, to be an avant-garde bartender is not just to have now the bartending world and the cuisine world, they're very, very close. They use a lot of similar technique. For example, the Donovan, we use a lot of fat washing. We use a rotavapor to distill in flavors or extract flavors. Or we use a specific machine that help us to squeeze the juice and keep the consistency of the juice without you losing the flavor and many, many other things. But it's something that you need to feel inside. For example, for every cocktail that we shake or we stir in our bar, we approach a different technique. It's different if we have a white spirit or black spirit. So we approach in different way. So also those small elements, they are the details that in the end they make the difference.
Got it. Is this more of a self-learning thing where you guys are the ones who are enhancing the process, or is there like a blueprint somewhere which you can always refer to advance?
Both.
Okay.
It's something that you have like personally, because of course you want to growing up as much you can, but it's something that also you can study, because you can learn it but from chef as well, not just from bartender. So it's nice to take some example from chef or bartender and make it your own. So we don't want people that copy other bartender. We want to people that develop their own skills. Of course, you can take inspiration for someone. We all take inspiration in the Donovan Bar for the maestro Salvatore Calabrese. He's our mentor, of course, but we don't want to be Salvatore Calabrese. And I'm sure he doesn't want that we become the new Salvatore Calabrese. We want to be ourselves, and of course, you're gonna take inspiration for your mentor.
Yeah, solid. When it comes to mixology, usually it's a very fine line between defining a bartender and a mixologist. What is your definition? What is the difference between a bartender and a mixologist in their duties which they're performing?
Mixology is something that is a new word, okay? But it's bartender and mixology in the end, they are the same. Okay?
Is mixology more the cocktail side of things?
I think maybe the mixology, they're much more focused in cocktail creation, combined flavor that before there was not discovered before, but pretty much bartender and mixology, they are the same. Right. Actually, bartender, I'm a bartender.
Understood.
Yes. I'm a mixology. Yes. I can be both, of course.
Yeah.
So they are the same way.
Got it. It's just that when you say mixologist, that means you can say that this person knows how to make great cocktails, maybe.
Correct.
When you're interviewing for a mixology position, what are the questions you would normally ask a potential candidate?
We start usually for a little bit of knowledge.
Okay.
So to understand where the bartender or the gentleman or the guys is coming from. So some background, when he used to work before, knowledge about spirits, about cocktail. But then in the end, what we really like is the attitude.
Okay.
If you don't have the attitude, knowledge is something you can learn.
Got it.
But attitude, or you have or you don't. So
are there any particular set of questions that you just always ask, just to know the personality?
In the bartender world, we unfortunately we face a lot of hours when we work.
Yeah.
I never see a bartender that work just 8 hours per day. And so what we very like is the attitude to be open-minded, to maybe do extra mile, not just to work more hour, but to be open-minded. Like if we ask something else that is outside of his duty, he's happy to do it. So yes.
Someone who's not
close,
job specific,
exactly.
That I don't think this is my thing,
I did this mistake as well when I was younger. When you start the career of bartender, the main focus is the bar.
Yeah.
But it's not just the bar. The bar counter or behind the bar is just a piece of your environment.
Yeah.
So you need to be open-minded to maybe do a waiter for a day, to attend a guest to the door one day. So this is all a connection.
Yeah. What does your training program look like here? When someone joins and it's the first day, they just walk in 10 a.m. and they say, "Hi, I'm here." What are the exact things you make them do in the first 10 days, let's say? Okay,
when they arrive, we give them the opportunity to work alongside with something a little bit more like senior.
Okay.
So he can learn a little bit how the mechanic they are behind our bar.
Okay.
Okay, so where we keep in the ice, where we keep in the tools, the juices and the spirit, blah blah blah. Then we start to a training progress with them, like proper training, like in spirit and cocktail.
Okay, and is there like a manual?
We do have a Bible, we call a Bible,
where
we write it down all the ingredients, all the homemade recipe that we have.
For your menu?
For our menu and the previous menu as well.
Okay.
So in case some customer come in and ask for a cocktail that we used to have in the 2 menus ago, if we do have the
Got
homemade,
it.
we are able to replicate. If not, we're gonna suggest something else.
So I think that's one thing they learn.
Yes.
What about other SOPs, like any other standard operating procedures for the standard that you've created here, right? The Browns Hotel, the
Yes.
Forbes and all that. So are there any other, like a 2-day training for the way you approach the customer?
Absolutely,
Can you walk us through that?
We need to be sure that when you serve a cocktail, it's just a way to welcome people. It's one way, okay? But there are so many ways to welcome a guest, from the shaking hand to have a hug, okay? So what we don't want is to be just focused in the cocktail and maybe forget about the hospitality. That is all about the bar in the end. So yes, we do training our candidate to welcome guests, to how approach them, because of course the approaching is different to environment to another environment. It's different if you work in a 5-star luxury hotel or you work in a street bar. It's nothing wrong to work in a street bar. It's nothing wrong to work in a 5 luxury hotel. It's just 2 different environments. So you need to have a different approach. Okay. So yes, there are a few standards that you need to consider it when you start to work with us.
So I want to give real examples here, because I think that will help our audience a lot. Let's say I just came, what are the 2 or 3 sentences, exact things that you use, you may share, like, how was your day, or, welcome. Can you please share that?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, we don't use, sorry to say that, hi guys.
Of course.
We use hi sir, good evening, madam, good evening, gentlemen. It's a little bit more like, I don't want to say polite side, but it's a little bit more like 5-star luxury.
Yeah, absolutely.
What
do you say to a 21-year-old, still a gentleman?
You need to read the person.
Got it.
Okay. There are some person they want to be called sir. There's some maybe young gentlemen that they want to call guy. So you need to really read the person that you have in front of you.
But you have to maintain your
standards. At the same time, you have to be able to maintain your standard, or the standard the hotel give it to you. So it's very, very, what we don't want is a robotic standard. We don't like this. We like that our team express our personality, even when they welcome the people. So usually we welcome like, hi sir, hi gentlemen, did you stay in the hotel with us? Not because if they don't stay in the hotel with us, we don't gonna have a different approach with them, but just to maybe understand us. If they stay in the hotel, maybe they expect something different from the people that they don't stay with us.
What would that be?
Maybe they just looking for a quiet place to read a book. But at the moment, maybe the bar is full, so maybe we can recommend another place that we can give you the option to sit and read the book. It is different if a young guy is coming and looking just for a cocktail. Maybe he's a bartender, so he wants to stay at a bar counter because he's the center of the stage. It doesn't want to stay in a corner, sit alone.
Got it.
So as well, it's different if someone is coming and he's waiting for something else, so he's coming alone. It's a different approach. We always offer a newspaper. If we see he's a businessman, maybe he's there for a business.
Okay, so let me just pause there. So let's say you welcome them, you greet them, you ask them about are you a guest or you're just, a non-guest? And then what is the third one? Like you make them sit depending on that question? Okay.
Absolutely. If they wearing a jacket, we ask if they want to leave the jacket with us, we're gonna keep it to the clock room, or maybe if they're staying now, so we can send it to the room. Then we ask, do you like to accommodate to the bar counter? You prefer a table?
Got it.
In case they say, depend of the option, we escort them to the table or bar counter. We move the chairs, we help them to sit.
Perfect.
And then we offer the menu and we display that. This is our cocktail menu. We start with cocktail, followed with the wine, and then you can find the food selection in case you like something to eat.
As soon as they sat, do you give them some time before asking them, are you ready for the drinks?
Absolutely, yes. We keep.
And is there particular, like, a science behind it, like, or a standard, like 15 seconds you go back or 50 seconds you go back and ask?
There are some standard that all the luxury hotel follow that Forbes or LQA.
Yeah.
But they are important, yes, they are very important. But also you have to understand that, especially when you have a big menu with a lot of cocktail, a lot of wine,
True, it depends.
The
on
lady
the
or the man need to be have the time to go through the menu and understand what they want, because sometimes maybe you walk into the door and you don't know what you want. And maybe you'll be surprised to find something else that can catch you in the menu. So I'd say maybe you want to ask the waiters or the bartender what it's about.
And when a guest is coming, right, Federico, like they sat there, I really want to understand the practicality of things, and you're just watching and observing a guest.
Sure.
Because I'm sure you want to know as soon as they've decided as well, right? They've just made up their mind, they both chatted, and then they just put the menu. That means technically sometimes they've decided. Do you straight away approach, or how is that being played? Like, is there a place where someone has to stand and observe the guest and you know that it's the time to go?
We divide our bar in section.
Okay.
So we have the bigger section, it's called section 1, where the 2 waiters work.
Okay.
And then we have a smaller section that just one waiters work, because there are not that many tables.
Got it.
Plus, usually we do have 2-3 bartenders behind the bar.
Yep.
And always a manager at the door.
Okay.
So that's help us to see what's happening in the room.
Got it.
Okay. So of course it's the manager to welcome first the guest, help them to sit, and then the waiters approach with the menu. And that they need to be good, the waiters, to understand when is the right moment to come back to the table.
True. So it's the waiters who observe their sections.
Exactly. We assist them, of course, but they need to be good enough to understand when to approach the guest, or not.
Sure. Coming back on the mixology, right? Let's assume that I'm trying to open a new bar, and we talk about a consulting gig, where please help me create a great cocktail menu. What would be some questions you would ask a business owner about understanding their vision, so you understand what kind of needs they have, and you can give a better solution for the cocktail menu?
First of all, when you create a cocktail menu, we talk about just cocktail menu now, you need to understand the location.
Okay.
Of course, a cocktail menu created in Hawaii, it need to be different than the cocktail menu created in London.
True.
Because the weather is different, the people that they go in holiday there, they expect a different style of cocktail. So a good bartender need to understand the location and then act correctly.
True.
Okay. Then usually you have to check what is the concept of the menu. What are you gonna want for the menu? For example, here in the Donovan Bar, we create a cocktail now that is called Once Upon a Time. That is inspired by this is the oldest hotel in London, 1837.
Is that so? Okay.
It is. So it's inspired about the moment and the fact, or the people that they came here and make Browns what is Browns now.
Nice.
So always need to have a story behind to tell.
Got it.
Okay. And a font of inspiration.
Yep.
Okay. When you have that, it's now time to create a cocktail.
Got it.
So for cocktail, what is inspiration for the cocktail? Now we have the menu.
Yeah.
You can connect it with the menu.
Yeah.
So for example, Once Upon a Time at Browns. Okay, who was one of the most famous person that was coming here? Winston Churchill. Okay, what is to do with Winston Churchill? Is to drink champagne, is to love a whiskey and cigar. So those are 3 elements that you can consider in order to create the cocktail.
Great point.
So these are all connected, basically.
Got it. And then after your cocktail menu is done, what would be the training that you would give? Let's say you have this 3-4 bartenders, and you're trying to. It's a day 1, and before opening the bar, what kind of training you would give them in educating about the cocktail menu? Like what, how would they learn? How would you tell them to approach?
Before to give to the bar, what we usually do here, for example, is before to try the cocktail to the bartender, we give it to try to something that don't work in hospitality.
Okay.
I explain you the reason. The reason is why the bartender have a palate very, let's say, complicated, very training to the flavor. So they're very judging. Okay. At the same time, people that don't work in hospitality, they have a very neutral palate.
Yeah.
Okay. So they say, yes, it's good, no, it's bad.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't say, this is miss a point of acidic here, this is too strong. They say it's good or it's bad.
True.
So it's help us, because when you create a menu, also you need to consider that the majority of the people they come to your bar, they're not people from the industry.
Yeah.
They're people maybe they work in plumbers.
Yeah.
They are receptionists.
Yeah.
Or any other job.
True.
So you need to consider all of them. Okay. So when you have the menu and it's been approved for the majority, because of course there are some drink that cannot help not to be good for everybody, because everybody have a different taste. We started training with the bartender. What we do in the Donovan Bar, usually we organize 3-4 days of training before the official launch of the menu.
Yep.
When we try all the cocktail, we discuss about the cocktail.
Wow.
Because I always say, yes, we can give the recipe, but the cocktail evolve during the years. It's good to have a recipe, but of course it's gonna change, because you're still thinking, maybe what we can do for improve this cocktail. I don't say they change the ingredient, but you find a different balance between them. You find a different technique to develop this flavor. So the menus is constantly changed during the year. And then when everybody there agreed with the cocktail, we're gonna launch the menu.
Understood. So you want them to buy into the concept that we're together
Exactly.
decision makers of this new cocktail.
I always say it's very important to us that understand the why behind the cocktail. I don't want to say this cocktail is good, yes, you see. I want to explain, and I want really to them to understand why we go in this direction instead of the other.
Got it.
It is very important, because when you understand the why, it's much easier to make yours the creation and selling better.
Got it. When you're writing the names in the menu and the prices and the descriptions, what have you learned works better? Like some things it's better to just be precise. It's better to start with maybe a low to high or high to low. What is your observations that how it should be designed?
We usually work in the same way, like we have 5 cocktail per section, 4 alcoholic, 1 non-alcoholic, because also non-alcoholic cocktail is very important, especially now.
Yeah.
We divide our section in 4 different chapters. One, you can find a drink a little bit more sophisticated. The other, you can find a drink a little bit more refreshing. In the other, you can find a drink a little bit more like playful and colorful.
Okay.
So everybody that come to our bar can find the cocktail that is suited perfectly for them. Okay. So yes, this is our.
Do you on purpose write the common names as well? So at least in case if people are confused, they'll just say, okay, whiskey sour for me. Do you write the traditional ones as well there?
Like traditional, like classic cocktail.
Classic cocktails?
No, we don't have the classic cocktail in the menu. We are able to make any.
So do you think that normally most of the cases, if someone's is confused, they would ask you?
We try to do that. Yes. For example, what it can really help the customer, we have a design next to the cocktail. So the guest can understand the word the cocktail will be served. Martini glass, rock glass.
So you have a glass symbol.
Glass symbol, correct. So they
can visualize how
they visualize
you're right.
much more or less what they're gonna expect in the cocktail.
You're right.
And as well, when we create a menu, we like to play with the twist of classic, let's call it, because you always can find a sour.
Yep.
In order, maybe some people they like whiskey sour, vodka sour. You always can find a fifth if you like a long drink, a refreshing. So it's very variegated.
Got it.
As a menu. So usually you can find. If not, if we go for a classic cocktail, we are more than happy to make the classic cocktail.
Sure.
But first, let us try to introduce our way to make a cocktail.
Got it. And maybe that's your way of engaging with the guests, right?
Exactly.
Just one last closing remarks, please, is on the bartenders who are trying to navigate into the mixology side of things. Where do you think they should start? What are some good tips? Where can they learn more about mixology? And where do you think they would really find great, even for something like podcast or videos? Any names that come to mind, which you can recommend them?
First of all, you need to be humble and never stop to study, because it's a job that never ends. Okay? There are many products that come alive every day, new product, new spirits that help you to do your job in the best way you ever.
Yep.
Read the book how much you can.
Any books that come to your mind?
In my mind, Classic Cocktail of Salvatore Calabrese is very good.
Okay.
You cover all the classic cocktail around the world, so you have a basic to start.
Got it.
And then when you have the basic, you can start to read a little bit more like complicated book.
Okay.
Yeah. I wrote the Jerry Thomas for David Woodrich that is very, very nice. He talk about the beginning of the mixologist.
Okay.
And then of course travel a lot. Don't never stop to stuck in one place. I don't say change your job, travel. That is different.
Yeah.
Because when you travel, you discover new flavor, new lifestyle as well.
True.
And that you can, every time you experiment something new, it become part of your background.
Yeah.
And when you come back to your place, it's something that you come back with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can develop in your home.
True.
Yes, but there are many bartenders, especially in London, that Salvatore Calabrese, Agostino Perrone, to mention two, Alex Cratena, Monica Berg.
They can follow them and see their notes as well.
There are a lot, especially in London. There's a big concentrate community of bartenders.
Yeah.
Most of them are Italian. That is good. But yes, we do have a lot of masters here.